In Unit 7, the firm was determining both its price and its optimal quantity depending on its target profit and its demand constraint. In this video, we'll change the constraint the firm operates with. We'll assume that the firm is so small that it can sell any amount it wants at the price determined by the market. As a result, we'll be able to see not only what happens at the firm level, but also what happens at the industry level when a price changes. But before we derive the industry implications of price changes, we need to see what makes a firm a price taker. A firm is a price taker when it can't affect the market price in any way. But let's think about this for a minute. What prevents you from affecting the market price? Well, you need to be small. You need to be so small that no one will notice if you suddenly go out of business. You're so small that your market share is just negligible. This means that even if you double or triple or quadruple your output, the impact on the market price will be negligible. But if that's the case, you can sell any amount of the product you want at a price which has been predetermined for you and has been given by the market. In other words, you turn into a price taker. However, it's not enough to just be small. You also need to sell an identical product to the ones your competitors are selling. Homogeneity of the product is an important prerequisite for a firm to be a price taker. Imagine if the firm didn't have a homogeneous product. Imagine the firm was selling a product that differs in some form or shape from the product of its nearest competitor. Then the firm would be able to raise the price of the product without losing its entire demand. But if that's the case, then the firm would be enjoying a downward sloping demand curve. It would become a monopolist in its own little market. So we need the assumption of homogeneity of the product sold on this marketplace, together, of course, with the assumption of price taking, to be able to study three consequences. First, the individual profit maximization, which leads to optimal levels of individual supply. Then second, the resulting industry supply. And third, the resulting industry dynamics, the entry, exit, and equilibrium number of firms in this industry. We'll leave the equilibrium number of firms for more advanced level courses, but for now we'll be able to say a few things about entry and exit. Now, let's focus on the first element, profit maximization. You do remember that the marginal cost curve crosses the isoprofit lines at the minimum of the isoprofit lines. Then let's have a price that the firm takes as given. Remember, the fact that the firm is very small relative to the entire market has two important consequences. The firm cannot affect its own price, and it can sell anything it wants at the given price. And as a result of these two consequences, we can draw the individual demand curve for this type of firm as a horizontal line. It cannot sell at a price above P star because no one will buy its product. Remember, it's a product that can be perfectly substituted for by another product in the market. So no point in raising your price, just no one will buy it. Now, at the same time, if you undercut the price below P star, you are positioning yourself on an isoprofit curve which is lower than your current one. So there is no point in doing that as well. When we discuss the long-run equilibrium in the industry during the live lectures, I will give you one more important reason why the firm can't really undercut P star to capture a larger market share. But for now, let's just say that as a result of the above, the firm will stick to P star. Notice that the nature of the problem the firm solves never changes. Even though it can't control its price, and even though it sells a homogeneous product, the firm is still trying to maximize its own profits subject to a certain demand constraint. This is given in this figure. The highest possible isoprofit line for the firm indicates a short-term profit of 80 and a quantity of 120. But what if the price changes? Let's place all the possible prices together with the graph showing the profit maximization decision. If the price goes up, the constraint the firm faces is being relaxed. It can sell more product because the higher price covers the higher marginal costs associated with the increase in production. Note also that with a higher price, the firm can get on a higher isoprofit curve as well. On the other hand, if the price goes down, the profit levels will decrease and the firm will optimally supply a lower quantity to the market. This is so because at a lower price, a lower revenue for each quantity sold needs to be matched by a lower quantity produced, for which the marginal costs are also lower. So notice that when a firm is a price taker, it determines the optimal level of production Q star in much the same way the other firms do. Those firms with the downward sloping demand curves. The constraints both types of firms face look different, but fundamentally the problem is the same. The only important difference here relative to the baseline scenario in which the firm has market power is that now the firm takes the price as given. As you can also see, when the firm is a price taker, the individual supply is matching the marginal cost curve. When the market price goes up, the optimal quantity supplied increases because the higher price covers the higher marginal costs associated with the higher level of output. So an individual price-taking firm has an upward sloping supply curve. And what underlies this individual supply curve is the marginal cost curve. How does this look for the entire market of many identical firms, all of them selling their homogeneous product? So let's take a price of €2.35 per loaf of bread. At this price, it's optimal for every firm to supply 120 loaves. But there are 50 identical firms here. So at a price of $2.35, the market will supply 50 times the individual optimal level of production. This is why the market will supply 50 times 120, which is 6,000 loaves of bread. Now, if the price goes down, each individual firm responds with a reduction in supply because the lower price covers the marginal cost for a lower level of production. Let's say that at a price of €152, each firm will supply 66 loaves of bread. This means the entire market will supply 50 times that quantity, which is 3,300. So this is an exercise in addition and multiplication, really, especially when firms are identical. When they're not identical, the substance of the exercise doesn't change. If firms aren't identical, they will have different marginal cost curves. This means the quantities they supply at various prices will be different. But the method of getting the market supply will not change. It will still be adding individually optimal quantities at different prices. During the live lectures this week, we'll go back from the market supply down to the level of the individual firm. We'll see what happens when the firm have incentives to enter and there's free entry into this market. We'll see that profits in this industry go down to zero, and we'll discuss what that means for the long run outcomes in the industry. Thanks for watching.